Well, joining me now is Mick Billing from Thor Mining, and I can see a full room here. Now, that suggests to me that people are interested in your company, so tell us, what do you do?
I think they're more interested in you, Louise, to be honest.
I think so too.
But you're very kind.
Oh.
Thor Resources Company, listed on AIM, also listed on ASX in Australia. We're in the tungsten business, essentially. Have a project in Australia that we believe is ready for production, and another project in Nevada in the US where there's a fair bit of drilling activity going on right now. We've generated some good news out of that with drilling results. Hope to do some more in the next little while, and it's very pleasing to see that some investors think right now what we're doing over there is pretty good, and there's been a pickup in the share price.
Well, why is it pretty good what you do out there?
We have a project there that we've had for 2 or 3 years, not had the money to do what we want to do until about now. And the last time someone drilled a hole out there, they intersected something that I would normally call a very sexy intersection.
Oh, right. No, tell me more about that. What's a very sexy intersection?
We had 17 odd metres of nearly 1% tungsten, and in tungsten terms that's huge.
Wow.
Nearly 2% copper, a bit over 2% zinc, plus an ounce of silver. That is, in copper terms, of copper equivalent, for those that don't know much about tungsten, but most people know a little bit about copper, is over 5.5% copper equivalent. That's great. So we wanted to, and now have just drilled, to see if it's more than just one isolated little pot of mineralisation, and in fact has a bit of size to it. Well, we finished a hole last weekend and announced a couple of days ago that while we don't have assays, and they will be what they will be in several weeks' time, it wasn't 17.5 metres, 25 metres to the east of it. It's 50 metres.
Okay.
And I'll take that any time.
Wow, and is that in Nevada?
That is in Nevada.
Okay, and that's the future project, so this is good news.
That's very good news for us, and good news for our shareholders. We think there's a mine there in the making. I suspect that we will have, in a year or so, an understanding of the sort of mine we want to develop there, and within a couple of years from then, we should be in mine development, and I think in terms of getting mining approvals, finance, developing a mine, that's a relatively short time frame.
Okay.
What I do think we have is the potential for a mining operation that will run for 20 or so years and produce at a level that will be quite profitable for our company and for our investors.
And tungsten, I mean, it's not something you hear about every day. Why is it an important area to be mining?
Tungsten's an industrial mineral. It's the hardest metal known. It's got an extraordinary high boiling point. Its use is in construction.
Okay.
So drilling bits, cutting tools. When you go to the dentist, and he puts something into in your mouth to drill away at your tooth, there's a little bit of tungsten in there.
Right. Okay.
When your mobile phone vibrates, that little bit of that little thing that vibrates in there has a tiny bit of tungsten in it. But the main uses are for drilling bits, metal presses, things of that nature. So it's associated with growth, with infrastructure development, stuff of that nature. Oil and gas, for example. The things that drill for oil and gas have tungsten in the bottom of them.
Well, so there's a large area of potential customers that would be picking up your product then?
There is. It's not a large market. The market for tungsten is about 100,000 tonnes a year. You compare that with copper, which is 25 or so million tonnes a year. Right. Very small, very niche, but it is a commodity for which there are few substitutes. There's not a lot of it about. Most of the world's production is in China, and those end users outside of China are nervous about China being the sole point of supply.
Okay, now what's coming up in the future then?
We're going to finish this drilling program in the next week or two. We believe there will be an upgraded resource estimate on our project from then. One of the deposits, there are 4 deposits there, we're drilling 2 of them now. One of them almost certainly needs more drilling. We'll be going back to that again quite soon, and over the next year we will be adding more work to this project, adding value to determine what sort of mining operation we want to build.
Wow, and just before I let you go, to everyone in this room then, and to people who are watching this video, why then should they invest in your particular company?
I think we have a couple of projects that are in a commodity that is considered a strategic commodity by in the US, in Russia, in the EU and the UK. We have deposits that are slightly, and perhaps a little more than slightly higher grade than most of the competition around, so we believe that we can develop projects that are likely to be lower cost to build and to operate than most of the competition.
Brilliant. Well, I shall let you get on with the party and have another lemonade. Thank you so much.
Or a shandy.
A shandy.